Isn't that pretty? Just practicing today. But the big news is that I'm starting the band back up again. Yeah, it's been a long time. I've been hosting jams here in my home, my garage, for years now. And I really had a band per se. Just guys that roll in and roll out. Men and women, that play music. And that's different than an actual band. The band is a little bit more of a statement. A band, in fact, let's look at it this way. A band is kind of like maybe 4 or 5 practice pals. And I've talked to you so often about having practice pals. So I thought today, I'm just sitting here practicing a little bit, working on some cool old tunes in different keys, by the way, than they were written. It's just a better exercise, I think. And I want to talk to you about, the process of putting a band together. Last night I met with a guitarist who fit the description of what I'm looking for in terms of putting a band together. I'm enchanted with bossa novas. I don't know what happened. Bossa novas seem to have taken over my creative mental space, and it feels like a place I could really work in and have make some music that I'm going to enjoy. Anyway, I've been in the loud rock circuit for a long time, and the blues circuit for a long time, and I'm grateful to have been in both of those arenas. This time around, it's just time to do something different. Maybe head back to those jazz roots a little bit more and see where this kind of music goes. I'd love to be creative with that old format, find new ways to express all that wonderful old music that we heard back in the era when bossa nova was still was kind of brand new, like the 60s, something like that. And this strap, not digging this strap. Better strap. All right. So we worked out a little bit last night and, just played a couple of bossa novas and just talked about ideas and things like that. It's really good to do that. Why is it good for you to, play with somebody else? Well, you learn a lot about yourself, all right? You'll learn a lot about yourself. What do you mean by that, Dave? Well, what I mean is that when you are alone in your practice, wherever you practice, under a bridge, in your bedroom, wherever, your clothing closet, wherever you do, we go practice. You're practicing along to maybe a metronome or a backing track or something like that, right? And it's just perfect, right? And you're perfect. Everything you do is perfect. And if it's not perfect, you can stop the record. You can stop whatever you're doing and start over again. Nobody hears you. Nobody knows, right? But when you play with somebody else, they're not perfect, right? Their timing might be off. Their rhythm is off, because we're all humans here. Even if they're very good, there's still going to be those minor imperceptible, shifts. And you're going to be playing with somebody that you can't stop, push a button, rewind, go back, start over. Well, of course you can say, hey, let's stop and start over again. You can do that, right? But in the grand scheme of things, you're playing along with somebody. And this is where you work out all the stuff that you practiced in the practice room. And you find out that your fingers may not work anymore. They might not deliver what the brain up here has got these great ideas, but your fingers are saying, nah, not today, bud. So you pay attention to what you're doing and what you're not doing, and if you consider the other practice buddy, you record yourself perhaps and listen back and make a list of what it is that you think you want to work on. Excuse me, that's what you take to practice, okay? Now, where do you find these people? That's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. How do you put a band together? How do you do that? Isn't that a great question? How do you put a band together? How do you find a practice buddy? Well, I've often resorted to I have a big Facebook following of musicians. And a lot of people I know by face and not name. So, Facebook is kind of good though. Facebook, right? Instagram as well. But I'll reach out that way. Who's available and who's interested in doing this kind of music, right? Or Craigslist. Now, Craigslist is kind of a mixed bag, all right? Nothing bad to say about Craigslist, but nothing altogether like really good to say about Craigslist. You can meet some unusual people on Craigslist, and you can meet some really good people on Craigslist. I've met both, and so have you. So you can try that. You could also reach out through music stores in your neighborhood or music instructors, people that play the kind of music or play an instrument, say that you're looking for. So I want to find a guitar player that plays bossa nova. So maybe I'll reach out to the guitar. Maybe there's a guitar community on Facebook or on Craigslist, or maybe there's a couple of good teachers in town that might be able to suggest somebody to you, right? So that's how, but before you do that, there's one step and it's major. And what you want to do as a single note instrument, as the saxophone player, you're putting something together, right? You need to know, no questions about what it is you're going to do and your song list, okay? If you don't have like a set list, a song list, where you can present that to, any potential jammer who's going to come over to your house and potentially make a band with or a practice buddy situation with. If you don't have that, then you are at the whim of whatever the corded instrument you select is. Bass player, keyboard player, guitar player, whatever it is, you're at their mercy, you're at their whim. And more often than not, you're going to end up in a band that plays Voodoo Child. Now, there's nothing wrong with Voodoo Child, but you may not want to go there, okay? I can't tell you how many times that's happened. And I've learned over the years that, when you put together a band and you bring in, a hot rod electric guitarist and bass and drums, if you don't have a set list, if you don't know the songs that you want these guys to play, these or, women, again, I don't mean to keep saying guys, but forgive me, politically incorrect, right? So if you don't have a set list for the men and women who are coming to play with you, they're gonna play what they know, right? And honestly, Voodoo Child is kind of a joke. It's a Jimi Hendrix song, but I can't tell you how many times I've started out bands and ended up playing that song, which, there's no room for a saxophone in that. You're just standing there for like 8 minutes of sheer guitar, hero, just, oh gosh. Not for me anymore. There was a time when I could put up with that, but not anymore. In fact, there was a time when I could even solo along to Voodoo Child and play something cool, but, not where I'm going this time, Voodoo Child and Bossa Nova. So I, put that in the ad. Can you play these 3 songs? Would you be interested in playing these 3 songs? And organizing the session so that it's, maybe an hour and a half or something like that. It's not indeterminate. And these are the songs we're going to work on that night. Another format that I've learned that really, really works is, let's say you go 2 hours, all right, or even an hour and a half, whatever. Split it in time. Split the time down the middle and do a run through, and then play the songs again after you have gone and practiced them. You'll be amazed at the difference, right? The A and the B. These are just things that I've learned over years and years and years of putting together bands. First band was I was 11 years old. No, that didn't sound good. All right, so 11 years old. I didn't put the band together. I was their second choice. The Dogs. The first choice of the band was forbidden to play that kind of music by his father, who's an Orthodox Jew, by the way, and they had some strict code about not playing this kind of music, this rock music that we were playing. And it's cool. So the guy who was actually a better sax player got pulled out. I was the band's second choice. I got in and learned how to be a better sax player. And that's the thing. When you get together with other musicians, your peers who are better than you are, you learn to be better, right? You just get better at it. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying the singing, the dog singing here in the background. I hope you're going to have a great day today. I hope that you do have practice buddies or budettes that you're working with, and that you are experiencing the joys of making music with other people. It's not about just running scales in your practice room or learning the next cool thing off of YouTube, says the YouTuber. They bark at absolutely. Well, they're in the house now. My God. Seems like a 3-alarm fire here. You'd think there's absolutely nothing going on. What happened was a leaf fell out of the tree, and they're barking at the leaves because the leaves made a noise. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit and get out of here. If you have any questions, davegoodsax at gmail.com. davegoodsax at gmail.com. All right. I hope this helps. Hope this helps you put together. And I'd love to hear stories about your bands and about your practice pals and about your sessions. In fact, maybe even share some of them right here on the channel. I'm sure you could upload stuff, all right?